So, is Phil Town's 3 day investing course worth it or not? We're going to talk about that in this video. In fact, this month represents 5 year anniversary for me since I took his 3 day investing course. So, we're going to talk about what the course is all about, who it's for, and would I do it all over again and would I recommend it or not? Now, keep in mind, Phil Town has no clue who I am. I'm not an affiliate of his. I don't get paid to talk about him. I'm just coming, just from an average person, just my personal opinion on the 3 day investing course and really my journey of being an investor over the last several years. And, I first got into Philtown and found out about him because of this Rule One book here. I was just enamored with investing. I've always been really interested in the stock market, always wanted to invest in the stock market going back to my early teens when I first started working. And I finally, in 2019, I started working for a company that had a 401k. Technically, it was a SEP IRA, and we could invest in individual stocks. So that was really my first really experience in investing in stocks. And so doing it for a year, I actually did okay. I did about what the market did over a 12-month period. But I thought, man, if I could learn how to invest, if I could really figure things out, that'll give me a better chance on beating the market because the odds are against most investors to beat the market. In fact, you look at hedge fund managers, look at mutual funds that are actively managed. If you look at it like a 10-year period and longer, not over 95%, close to 98% actually, if you add in their fees, don't beat the market. So retail investors like you and me, if we don't have all these financial analysts that we're paying and all this other stuff that we have access to for resources, the odds could be stacked against us. But I can personally say that all of us have an expertise in certain areas, and that was one thing I learned from Phil Town and other value investors. And so I got into Phil Town because I was just trying to research as much as I could about buying stocks. So I was buying books after books after books. And I got to say, this is the best book, the Rule Number One investing book. It is by far the best investing book. If someone were to ask me, hey, I'm a new investor, what book should I pick up to read to get an understanding of a philosophy or a strategy on going about researching stocks and trying to figure out what a good strategy might be, and also how to value companies as well. So the book goes into that, and so that's how I first learned about Phil Town. Then I started watching his YouTube videos. He has a Rule One YouTube platform. He also has his podcast as well, and so I was listening to those. And then I found out through his YouTube videos that he offers these 3 day investing courses. And I thought, wow, this is a great opportunity. Not only that, so back in 2020, so I took his course, it was October 2020, and they just started shifting to an online platform. So keep in mind, for a long time, they did these in person in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where he's from, is that area. And so they would do these 3 day investing courses in person. And so you'd have to fly to Atlanta, you'd have to go to hotel, whatever venue it is. Well, with the whole 2020 thing going on, they started doing everything online. And so I thought it was so cool that I could just do it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from my own couch and really engage into this 3 day investing course. And so that was a great opportunity. Not only that, when I did it, I think it was $299. And they've run some specials. Just even a couple of months ago, I saw you could buy into that 3 day investing course for $97. In fact, there's someone on my Patreon that I think got it for $49 at one point. So there's opportunities to getting these 3 day investing courses or webinars for relatively nominal, inexpensive ways overall. And so, What are my thoughts about that 3-day investing course? First of all, if you read this Rule One book, I would say the first 2 days really go really through this book in a very quick manner. So if you're going to do this investing course, I actually highly recommend buying the Rule One book and reading it first, because what you do is you sign up for this course and then they divide you into groups. So the group I was in, I think we had 8 people in our group, and I think they can have a couple hundred people that attend each 3-day investing course. And so they divide you up, between 6 and 10 people between each group. And I would say there were 1 or 2 people in my group that really struggled through the course because they had not read this book. They didn't know how to invest, so I think they joined because their friend was joining or a family member, and so they really struggle keeping up because this is a very fast-paced course. I mean, they give you all the literature that you have to kind of walk through everything as they're going through it, but it is fast. I mean, you have to be ready. You need to sign in. I always signed in 20 to 30 minutes early to be ready for it. And then you get assigned a coach. So a coach is in charge of each 6 to 10 person pod that they put you in. So you can actually jump on, and that coach is usually on a little early before everything starts anyway. If I remember right, I think it was either 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. my time. But it went full 7 to 8 hours. I mean, it was intense. So you go a couple hours, take a little break, go a couple hours, and Phil Town does some teachings in it. He has some other leaders that do teachings as well, and they go through a really good, put together course. They really do. But I would say the first 2 days is all about the Rule One book and really the principles and philosophies in that book. How to find companies, how to find stocks, how to research them, the different steps you need to go through. I think it's even on the second day. You get an hour's worth of time and you get homework, and you have to go pick a company and you have to do a full analysis on them and then actually turn in your analysis to the coach, who then reviews that. And then he kind of picks his favorite out of the group or whatever. And then at the very end, on the third day, they actually pick the 10 best stocks of all the analysis that were done as part of that group. Another thing about the course too, Phil Town consistently talks about it as you're going through this 3 days, and he tells at the very, very end of the course, but he says, hey, I made, $1 million in a very short amount of time, and you can too. And I'm going to teach you at the very end of this seminar how to do that. I'll kind of touch a little bit on this video on what he says. It's not rocket science or anything like that, but it's kind of interesting. So first 2 days, really kind of going through the book, the principles, all kind of stuff. So definitely read that book beforehand. It'll give you a head start into the course. But really, the third day is where it was one of the most valuable things to me, because they talked about option contracts. And to be honest, I didn't know anything about option contracts at all before this 3-day investing course. So it was completely new to me. And I was like a kid in a candy shop. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And so he goes into, puts and calls and what to do there. And he's really big into selling calls, selling puts. I'm not going to go through his philosophy in this video or anything. Take the course to learn what that is. But he does it really in a good manner, and he provides these spreadsheets. When the course is all done, usually I think it's the next day, someone from one of the leaders, whoever, will email you a bunch of spreadsheets and resources that will help guide you after this 3-day course, right? And one of those spreadsheets is calculating what they call the ARORC, which is basically the return on investment for a particular stock option. So, he wants to get, Phil Town wants to get at least a 20% return when he's selling put options. He wants to get at least a 10% return on when he sells call options. And he goes through how to do that, what to look for, how to fill out that specific spreadsheet on how to figure out that return on investment, to figure out when's a good buy and not, and all that kind of stuff. He also goes through the Kelly formula too, on buying stocks and that sort of thing too. And you can go look up what the Kelly formula is. It's kind of interesting as well. And other investors actually use that Kelly formula as well. So again, the first 2 days, it's really about the principles in the book. Third day is really getting into stock options, and then he also gets into the 10 best stocks that were picked in that course. And then he talks about, okay, how can you make $1 million? And really what it comes down to, or boils down to, is that he started getting people to give him money to invest, and so he created a fund that people started to give money to. He invested their money, grew that, and then grew it to be over $1 million, and then ended up getting profits from that fund that he created. So that's what he's kind of trying to promote, is that you can do this yourself. You can make money not only investing for yourself, but also maybe investing for others as well. And so that may not be for everybody, certainly, but definitely intrigued me, and it's something that I partnered with someone else to do, and we run our own fund now. In fact, the fund is up. Last I checked, it was up, I think, 25 or 26% through the first 9.5 months of 2025. And so, not to say every year is going to be this great, certainly, but I will say that, this specific 3-day course is really for anybody that's interested in investing. So if you're brand new investing, take this course. Again, I'm not an affiliate. I'm not making money off Phil Town. He doesn't know who I am. I would do it in a heartbeat again. I don't care if it costs $299. I don't care if you can get it for $49. It is worth taking. I think it is a great resource to use. Even if you spend $300 on it, you will learn enough in that course, in that class, to really get back that $300 plus more. And if you can get it for a discount, even better as well. Now, part of that course too, what happens with it, you go through the 3 days, and then somebody's going to reach out to you from that from Phil Town's group, and they're going to want to have you sign up. So another thing that Phil Town does, and and I don't mean to knock Phil Town. I highly respect him. I mean, if you're watching this video and if you like Phil Town, you subscribe to his YouTube channel, I encourage you to subscribe to mine, because I follow his portfolio. I put out quarterly videos on his portfolio. I go through his stock options. I do research on the SEC.gov website within his Rule 1 portfolio to figure out the stock options that he's doing. So definitely subscribe, hit that bell notification if you want to have, get notified when these videos come out. But, one thing about Phil Town is, he's a great, marketer of his teachings, right? I mean, he's come up with not just this Rule 1 investing book. He has Payback Time. Invested is another book that he's doing. He's working on, I think, a 4th book to come out soon. So he's certainly made a lot of money on his books. He's made a lot of money on his webinars. Webinars itself, though, if you think about it, he's probably not making that much money. The amount of it costs to do the IT and everything going into that, even if everyone's paying, $200 or $300, he's not making a ton of money. But where I think he makes a lot of money is that after this course is done, somebody's going to reach out to you, and they're going to try to get you to buy into a more deeper course. And so that could be an annual course. It could be longer than that. There's people in my Patreon that are subscribed to that platform right now, and it's not cheap. It is not cheap. It is a lot of money, but I can tell you, everybody that I've talked to has taken it, has said it is worth taking and it's valuable, and that they actually got their money back, even though it's a lot of money to spend to get in there. The stocks that they were able to buy into because of the stuff they learned, and some of the stocks that Phil Town and others were getting into in that course that they got into, they ended up getting their money back. At the same time, I would also say you need to have money on the sideline if you're going to go into those courses, right? Because, and I would say, I heard some people say at least 10,000. I've heard people say 50,000. For me, I think you probably should have around $100,000 when you go into these courses, these additional courses after that 3 day webinar, because if you're going to try to follow him, in that annual course or whatever it is, you need to have money to be able to do the trades that he's doing, the option trading. If you think about it, if you don't know much about options, when you're doing option contracts, you're buying them in lots. And so you're buying a lot of 100 shares at a time. So if you think about Apple that's trading at $200, in order to trade an option contract, that is 100 shares of Apple. So that one trade you do is about $20,000 because that stock is around $200. So you need to have some money set aside, some significant money, about, I would say, low six figures, to be able to follow Phil Town, because you could still do paper trading and stuff too to follow on. Certainly could do that. I'm sure that'd be valuable as well, but you definitely want to have some money set aside to be able to do it, to make, I think, your money worth it and to get the most out of it as well too, to follow him overall. So I mean, to sum this thing up, is I'm a huge fan of Phil Town. I'm a believer in his strategy. I think his strategy is fantastic. It's really not rocket science, because a lot of what he teaches is you're going to find that in a lot of other books. I have a bunch of books behind me from Howard Marks, Mohnish Pabrai, Guy Spear, Warren Buffett. I mean, you read these books, they're all talking the same language. So it's nothing that Phil Town, is saying or suggests that these other guys don't say or suggest. He just puts it, I think, in a really good, readable manner that makes sense for most people. I've read a lot of books where, even though I'm an accountant and I'm in finance, I'm the finance leader of my organization. Some of the books I read that are analytical, even I kind of get lost in it sometimes. Like, well, this is too much for me. I think he kind of drums it down into layman's terms. That makes it easy for just the average person to understand and follow along. So definitely, if you're interested in investing, definitely interested in getting into individual stocks, I highly recommend picking up this book and also taking his 3 day investing course. And you can find his investing course on the Rule One website. You can find it usually in a lot of his YouTube videos that he does out there as well too. And I'll be honest as well too. I mean, everything he taught, and what I fast forward 5 years, a lot of what he taught I'm still using today. But what I would also encourage you to is read as much as you can. Read all the books you can about Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Howard Marks, Ray Dalio, Bill Ackman. It goes on and on. Take all the information, put it together, and create your own strategy that makes sense to you. And that's what I have done overall. And I mean, if you're interested in following me, definitely subscribe to this channel. If you want to follow me even further, even support this channel, I mean, I have a Patreon that I'll put a link down below. You get access to my Discord channel. We have over 150 value investors. Most of them are Phil Town followers as well. And also you get access to my valuation templates too. So if you don't know how to value companies, I give you models and I teach you how to use those models so you can value companies too. And hopefully you get some value out of it. That's what it's all about. But definitely recommend Phil Town. No doubt about it. I follow him very, very closely. I have a ton of respect. One thing on my bucket list is hopefully meet him one day, shake his hand, take a picture with him, because he has changed my life for the better when it comes to investing overall. So hopefully this was valuable to you guys. I really appreciate the support on this channel. Really appreciate the support on Patreon and other platforms as well too. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Take care and God bless.